Yeah, United got their win. Arsenal got their win. They were down in Seville last night and a 2-1 win there. Really, any time of the day or night is not a bad result. So now they crack on with 3 points under the belt. I mean, there's a whole bunch of Arsenal fans suggesting to me, Danny, that look at where Arsenal have got to now. They've been coming through a fairly lengthy period in transition, and United are going to have to do the same thing. Give Ten Hag time. He may well turn up trumps. They've given Arteta time, and he is turning up trumps. I know what you were saying, Simon, in the break there when we were chatting about the Seville game last night. I think, although it's not a great, mind-blowing Seville side at this time, although they did all right against Real Madrid at the weekend, it's a damn good result for Arsenal, Danny, going there last night and winning. Surely.
Yeah, and it's also the way you win. They controlled a lot of the game. It got a bit frenetic last 20 minutes because they got a goal from a set play, and all of a sudden Arsenal were on the back foot a bit. But for the majority of it, they controlled it in a really good way. Lots of experienced players who played a lot of European games. Brilliant from Jesus. I thought he looked super sharp.
Yeah.
That's as good as he's looked. Wow. Fit, strong, on it. Hopefully that injury isn't too bad for him. But yeah, encouraging signs for Arsenal supporters, because in the Premier League, they're unbeaten. Not probably played as fluently and cohesively as times at last season, but they're still up there.
So is this good enough, Simon, do you think, for Arsenal thus far in the Champions League? 2 wins, 1 loss from your first 3. That's all right.
But they've only had 1 at home.
Yeah, it's not bad.
1 at home in the first 3.
I mean, it's one of those, isn't it, where you go into the Champions League and you worry that it can disrupt what you're trying to achieve in the Premier League. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to be in the Champions League, but Arsenal's ultimate goal is to build on the successes of last season and the perceived demise of their challenge, i.e., in their own hands. They didn't lose it because they lost games to Man City. They lost it because they threw points away against 4 or 5 other sides. And so the idea was to build to try and win the Premier League this year, alongside as being successful in the Champions League. And the worry was, if you go into the Champions League and have a disappointing Champions League campaign, that it could disrupt the forward motion. They're doing okay. They're fine. They've spent 250 million quid, which is what I said last year. I felt they needed to stand still. And to be moderately successful in the Champions. Do I see a Champions League winning side in Arsenal? No, I don't. But they're doing the job in hand. 6 points out of 9, 3 games.
My only concern for Arsenal, a little bit, not concern, but little
reservation.
Reservation is that he still seems super reliant on the front 4, which is Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka as the 3, and Odegaard behind. And when you spend the money out, Trossard's come on and scored in games who I like. He's really, really reliable in terms of his goal threat. But when you think of Reece Nelson, Nketiah, Havertz, Trossard, he doesn't seem to trust them enough to rotate. And that may again cause Arsenal problems further down the line. Because although Saka and Martinelli are super talent, and you can't help but admire them, they do need little breathers. And even in game time, like last night, I was thinking, make the subs a bit early, get some freshness on, give them a break. Because when you're defending, you should have players capable of coming on and being able to do the defensive work, even if they aren't as much of a threat. But he seems reluctant to leave them out. Now, he had to leave Martinelli out because he was injured for a few games, and then he came back in and got the winner against City. So, you want him in the team. I'm not saying don't put him in, but just try and manage it.
Isn't there 2 different arguments there, Dan? Isn't there the argument of taking players off and resting them during the game, or the argument of starting them? And you're in the Champions League.
I'm not suggesting last night because it was a big game for them. She lost the last away one. But every time they're available, he tends to play them. And I thought the idea was when you spend 200 million quid, is that you're actually then producing a squad where some get, you can rotate a bit more and feel like you're not weakened.
Do you not play your best players up?
Well, I think if you look at the success of Man City, and their constant...
Klopp doesn't rotate Salah.
No, and he didn't used to rotate Mane and Firmino, but that was quite unique that those front 3 remain so durable and fit. If you look at City, the benchmark, if you like, winning the title every year, getting to the latter stages, semi-finals, finals, Champions League. I mean, you never knew which front 3 was going to play.
If we're talking about Arsenal and Manchester United in the same breath, though, is it not the case that we know what Arsenal are under Arteta?
Yeah.
We don't know what United are under Ten Hag.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a real identity what Arsenal are trying to do.
And he's had enough time for us to know what Ten Hag's United looks like.
Yeah.
He
Well,
has.
I think last year he had to make do with what he had. Ten Hag did really well last year after a bad start, adapting to what he had. So he didn't have a goal.
Did we know what Arteta's Arsenal was after 18 months? They were in disarray. You had a Aubameyang crisis. You had people calling for Arteta potentially to lose his job if they lost away to Norwich.
They'd won an FA Cup in that time.
They won an FA Cup, and Man United won the League Cup.
They were trying to play a possession-based game, and it wasn't as...
I think Ten Hag's trying to get where Arteta's got to.
Yeah, Ten Hag last season adapted really well.
But he's got there
there
off. This is his 4th year, Arteta. We're talking about, because we're going to compare the examples, 18 months into where Arteta was. Did we have the clear vision of what Arsenal were then?
Not as clear as it is now. I think that'd be fair.
But he's been there 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So this guy's been there 18 months. None of us not even that, 15 months.
None of us here are suggesting Ten Hag should be gone.
No.
So
I'm challenging the notion that we knew what Arteta is doing on the same timelines. The argument has to be,
I think it's a new...
give him time on that basis.
I think the problem, not problem, but the obvious thing with Arteta when he came in after working with Pep is you had a lot of people who probably said they could see it more quickly than the football was showing because of you knew what it was going to be because of the philosophy of Pep being the same as Arteta.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, Ten Hag wants to play a possession-based game.
Is that what he played at Ajax?
Yeah, but he adapted really well last season because he didn't have a keeper who could do it. And after losing those first few early on in the season when he got done at Brentford,
does anybody not want to play a possession-based game then? Don't the best sides all want to play a possession-based game because you can't hurt the team if you haven't got the ball?
I don't think Newcastle are obsessed with it.
No.
I don't think they are at all.
Are both of these statements right, though? Manchester United to win the Champions League this season? No. Arsenal to win the Champions League this season? No.
Oh, no, I'd have Arsenal with a much better chance than Man U.
So you give them a chance, but what, an outside chance or what?
Yeah, only because of the strength of quality they're up against when you look at Madrid, Munich and City.
But you don't expect... I mean, what Jim's analysis is that between the two sides, neither one of them are going to win it. Arsenal probably got a better chance of the two, but you don't expect Arsenal to win the Champions League, do you?
No. And that's where we've got to at this precise time. See what Newcastle can do tonight up against Borussia Dortmund. I think there'll be goals on that, and I hope they're Newcastle's. It's 11:30.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.